everyone, welcome to the Daily Bloom, your #1 stop for Enlightenment news and discussion. Today we have guest speaker Renee Descartes with us to read some submissions from our fans. Well, without further ado, welcome to our show. Oh, I'm glad to be here. Great, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, I was born in 1596 in Touraine, France. Nice, so what are some of your contributions to the Enlightenment? I mean, one major thought that I've been attributed to is my saying, I think, therefore I am. Yes, I've heard of that. I think someone made a song about it too. Oh really? That's interesting. Yeah, well before we see our viewer submissions, would you care to do a little interview? Sure, of course. Awesome. Well, what are your views on the government? Nothing very strong. As long as the government is satisfied, the relationship should be fine. What about economics? Same thing. Religion? I am devoutly Catholic. With what I know, I've been able to prove God's existence without own. Yet, the church has denounced me for following their religion. It's strange, quite frankly. Huh. Well, what about the position of women? How are they different from men? While I do think that there's a difference in how the two should act, women need rights too. Equal ones? Mostly, yes. Alright, what do you think of education then? I think that proper education is crucial to the development of a person. It's what leads us to think for ourselves and helps children grow up with an understanding of the world. Of course. We're almost done here, so what do you think of the military and justice system? That's an interesting question. I guess with our military force, we need enough power to keep the rogues in line, but it should never be more than necessary. As with the justice system, criminals need to be prosecuted fairly. Both are important. That's a good point. Well, thanks for answering my quick questions. No problem. I guess we should get on to our viewer submissions now. Okay, first one. I am presently expanding my options in a small, but with definite plans for expansion, nation on the Baltic Sea. Some of your ideas, such as religious toleration and artistic scientific freedom, sound like they'd be right up my alley. How do you people feel about large armies? Do you think your Enlightenment ideas would help me achieve my goals? How? I am guessing that you are wanting to strengthen your nation's army to promote these beliefs. Enlightenment ideas would, most likely, assist you in your pursuits. But I am not sure that military strength should be the first priority to you. As far as your aspirations, though, anything is possible. Yeah, I guess you need to be able to defend yourself against others who are less tolerant, but there are definitely more things before that. Alright, next tweet. I am a poor peasant. I've gotten a raw deal under both monarchical and aristocratic rule. Is there hope for me in this new age of enlightenment? Yes, of course. In this new age of enlightenment, there's actually a new type of government being imagined by some other philosophers. From what I've heard at salons, it is called democracy. It's supposed to be less tyrannical than a monarchy, but much stronger than an aristocracy. That is because the people will vote on everything being decided. Alright, we have another submission. It says, I want my children to learn to be enlightened. What do you believe to be the best form of education? What would be the most important subjects for them to study? Now, Renee, I know that education is one of your favorite fields, so I'll let you just take this one away. Sure, it is very wise of you to want to give your children knowledge, but there are many options for what type of education you want. As long as you can afford it, the best choice is a personal tutor for your family. Tutors are good, but they could also be sent to an education at church. The most crucial subjects for them are math, science, and philosophy, as they give us the most understanding of the world. Alright, we have another one. For years, I listened to the church or the kings to tell me how to live. Now you are telling me their ideas are all wit. Why should I listen to the philosophies? What have you done for me lately? Well, as Descartes said previously, philosophies come up with new ideas. They're the ones who innovate. Yes, it may not seem that as philosophies do much to protect the land as a king would, But do you see the church coming up with new observations? It is important to hear what others say, because it is the only way to improve your own beliefs. The best way to gain knowledge. We work behind the stage, slowly coming up with innovations. Doesn't that seem like progress to you? Okay, moving on, we have our next submission. It says, I'm calling with a serious problem. I'm a well-known ruler, and some of my people, especially this guy named Puchev, are beginning to rebel. I really want to be enlightened, but help! What do I do? Interesting. Do you believe that strength means the opposite of enlightenment? You do not have to give up your power to be enlightened. Rather, you just need to coordinate with the rebels. Ask them what it is they want from you. An agreement could probably be made. But you will need to be cautious, as vulnerability is what they are looking for. I agree. Try your best to work it out, and maybe the rebels will step down. Good luck with Pugachev, though. Alright, we have a few more posts to look at here. So next one says, with very little exception, all you philosophies are men. When are you going to get enlightened about the other half of the world? I understand your frustration, but there's nothing I can do about it. We philosophies are not ignoring the opposite sex, but rather there are too few women with proper education. Mary Wollstonecraft, for example, is one of the women pioneering the Enlightenment scene. If more women volunteered to join our salons, the balance might even become equal. Even so, ignoring the few who are here is just as bad. Are they not valid just because they are the minority? Okay, our next post says, I don't know where to turn. Every time I think that I've found the perfect answer, you philosophies tell me it cannot possibly be right. Now I'm having trouble deciding on the right thing to wear. How can I make decisions if there are no right answers? No right answers? That's not always true, but I guess it can seem that way when there are so many different options. Of course, when philosophies claim that there are no right answers, it still does not mean that everything is wrong. We just mean that nothing can go unquestioned. One must make their own decisions for themselves after hearing others' questions. But there is still truth in this world. Thanks. Well, our next one says, I like your economic ideas about getting rid of mercantilism, but I'm worried that this will weaken my country. I don't want to be meat for the Prussian grinder. Help, signed by an anonymous poll. While mercantilism might seem like a stronger economy for a smaller country, it simply is not sustainable for you to capitalize on rejecting others' exports. While it would be unwise to abandon all commercialism with the pressure that's being put on you, there are still alternatives to mercantilism that you could try to experiment with. Find what works best for your people. Well, this next one should make an interesting discussion. It says, I am a cleric and I cannot believe that you philosophies are trying to convince people that Christianity is a false religion, or even worse, that there is no God. Are you willing to take the responsibility for turning people away from the one true faith? What philosophers have said that? Yes, not a single one of us philosophies are trying to denounce God. You understand? I am a devout Catholic myself, and it looks like you are quite confused. My goal as a philosopher is not to prove certain faiths right or wrong, but rather to get everyone to question what they believe. If I asked the same of an atheist, you would agree with me. So why is it that others are allowed to question you as well? If someone turns away from their religion, whether or not you perceive it as the true faith, I will not take any responsibility. Only you can think for yourself, so how could I have gone in and changed someone else's thoughts like that? It is not possible. Well, our last post of the day is kind of frightening. It says, my neighbor killed my son. I want my neighbor to die as well. I understand your philosophies are against capital punishment. Where can we meet? Meet? If it's the talk, then maybe. It must be deeply horrible for your son to have died at another man's hand, but if he's immediately killed, that defeats the purpose of a trial. If he is to be persecuted because murder is wrong, killing him just makes it seem more acceptable to do. In the system of justice, capital punishment is responsible in some situations, but not if the point of repercussions is to teach a lesson. I agree, we are both so sorry for your loss, but killing the criminal who did this, not even with a trial, would just be too harsh. But it looks like that was the last viewer submission of the day. So, Renee Descartes, I thank you so much for being here. Oh, thank you. I was happy to be here too. Well then, that's the show. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you in the next episode where we discuss Hobbes' new book, Leviathan. Goodbye for now, and thanks.